Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindus YouTube channel. Now this is a show where we go behind the headlines of big stories on domestic politics and try to get the juice out of it. This week was very busy. Parliament was convened, oath-taking, affirmation, introduction of the newly sworn-in ministers, the election of the new Lok Sabha speaker, actually the old Lok Sabha speaker who came back as the new Lok Sabha speaker. All of this happened. But the subject that we will be talking about and which hasn't been covered in that much detail, in fact, has been the fact about the implications of Congress MP Rahul Gandhi donning the former role of leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha. Now, before we dive into that, however, I must mention that it is after 10 years, a whole decade, that India is getting a formal leader of the opposition. This is the first time since 2014, in fact, that any opposition party has got more than a tenth of the seat strength of the whole of the Lok Sabha that makes a party eligible to claim the post. Now, there is some debate whether the rule under which the leader of the Lok Sabha, his powers and his perks and emoluments, etc., is described, mentions the 10% seat strength criteria. But in any case, this is the norm. And the second thing that is required is that the speaker has to formally recognize that this person is the leader of the Lok Sabha. Leader of the opposition. This did not happen in 1984 when Mr. Gandhi's father, Rajiv Gandhi, was Prime Minister. He came to power with over 400 seats in the Lok Sabha. The closest opposition party was TDP with 30 seats, but they didn't get recognized as the leader of the opposition bloc. And then, of course, again in 2014 and 19, this didn't happen. Congress got a measly 44 seats in 2014 and didn't do much better in 2019, with just 52 seats. Now, this time around, it has 99 seats. Of course, the MP from Sangli has also joined the Congress ranks, making it 100. But currently, since he's fought as an independent, 99 MPs have been recognized as belonging to the Congress, well above the 10% share of the entire seat or seat strength of the Lok Sabha, which is required for a formal recognition of the leader of the opposition position. Now, what are the powers of a leader of the opposition? Why are we making such a big deal out of it? Well, since India follows the Westminster model, it can be said that the LOP, I'll call this now LOP because leader of the opposition is getting a little bit much for me also to twist my tongue around. So the LOP is akin to the shadow prime minister. But since political parties in India have not followed the shadow cabinet model, that is, you have MPs among the opposition who basically follow certain ministries and follow as a shadow. They shadow certain ministries, and the LOP is the shadow prime minister. That model is not followed in India. And while the rule book says that while the PM is expected to govern, the LOP is crucial to the running of the House and is permitted to oppose the government. More importantly, the LOP is part of important committees of the cabinet with regard to appointments, and he is entitled to be a member, or he or she is entitled to be a member of various selection committees responsible for appointing heads of statutory bodies like the Central Vigilance Commission, the Central Information Commission, the CBI, the NHRC, and the Lokpal. As LOP, Rahul Gandhi will be entitled to the salary and perks of a cabinet minister. He'll get a Type 8 bungalow. And since he lost his previously occupied government bungalow when he was convicted in a defamation case and sentenced to more than 2 years in prison, of course, that was overturned later by a higher court. He basically has been living with his mother. So now he is entitled to a Type 8 bungalow of his own. Yay. And he is also entitled to an OSD, an officer on special duty, or a private secretary drawn from the Indian Administrative Service. Now, when his mother, Sonia Gandhi, was leader of the opposition in the late 1990s, the UP cadre 1974 batch IAS Pulok Chatterjee was private secretary to her. And he later went on to serve as principal secretary in former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh's PMO. That will be one appointment worth watching. Now, what are the political implications of Rahul Gandhi becoming LOP? Now, the dawning of a formal role in parliament has major political implications, both for Rahul Gandhi's own career and that of the Congress party. It formalizes some authority structure within the party, as Rahul Gandhi is deferred to on many issues within the party despite not being the Congress president. This is not a very, very comfortable situation. So if he becomes leader of the opposition, there is a formalization structure where the deference being paid to him can be justified. Secondly, there are many who felt that Rahul Gandhi refusing to be part of Dr. Manmohan Singh's government between 2004 to 14, when the UPA was in power, his refusal to become a minister in that government had the effect of keeping him aloof from any experience in statecraft and skills of handling bureaucrats, which is why this private secretary or whoever who is drawn from the administrative service, Indian administrative service, will also be helpful, because, you get to know how files move, what is the space of discretion between rules, and what is administration all about, how to get work out of bureaucrats. So all of this statecraft, handling of bureaucrats, government departments and administration, which should have been learned by him as a minister under Dr. Manmohan Singh, at least he'll get some amount of insight into that as leader of the opposition, because he will be privy to a lot of the governments working in this position. Now, the lack of such depth in statecraft is a big lacuna, in fact, especially considering the 23 uninterrupted years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's own experience in running governments, both as Chief Minister of Gujarat from 2001 to 2014 and as Prime Minister of India from 2014 onwards. When there is a face-off between the two, this issue pops up and Mr. Gandhi suffers in comparison. There is a hope now that some of that thing will be ameliorated. Now, the LOP's role in Parliament is also the grunt work of legislative work. Now, opposing bills, coordinating strategies, deciding who gets to speak from your ranks on which bill, what issues to raise, and engaging with the minutiae of the Parliament rule book. All boring grunt work, but work that is required to gain the polish of having handled these things in public life. The public's perception of you willing to put in the hours of non-glamorous behind-the-scenes political work then helps you acquire a serious hue and helps you lose any kind of, helps you combat any kind of attempt at infantilizing you by rival parties. Now, Rahul Gandhi has walked more than the miles of his Bharat Jodo Yatra and Nyaya Yatra in the 10 years that he has spent in opposition, from being considered a reluctant politician to a dilettante who doesn't seriously engage with the issues of the day, to being the head of the opposition bloc, which is there in significant numbers in this 18th Lok Sabha. For the further burnishing of his political image, he has to plug at it in this job as well, and also find some joy. As the 18th Lok Sabha gets underway, the change in the opposition's fortunes in the elections will be reflected. And let us return to this story once Mr. Gandhi's tenure as LOP gets underway in earnest. For this week, however, this is all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you all next week.